while rhetoric on the internet continues to get ramped up a little bit on both sides. I did a video on that sort of on Entertainment Guy yesterday. So the Greater Toronto Hockey League, which is where a lot of kids play. There are a lot. It is the largest hockey league of its sort globally. There are 40,000 players in it. So one thing it doesn't report, apparently, is whether or not certain amounts of racial slurs are uttered and where and what kind of penalties they give out for that. And apparently they're not going to give out that information. And what's really brought this to light is that there was a 16-year-old, Miles Douglas, who reported to TSN's In Depth that at least half of their games, more than half the games he played, he had some sort of slur thrown at him related to race. So that's a lot. That seems a little bit excessive. And so Kevin Weeks has come out and said, I'm not talking about the GTHL until they address this. Basically saying, look, I'm on 4 different channels. I'm on TV a lot. I'm a known personality. And when I talk about organizations, I talk about coaches, I talk about players, it's free advertising. And it is. And so he's saying, I'm not giving them any sort of advertising at all until they clean this up. And they're not saying anything other than, why don't we get the stats? So it's sort of like, today we went out and we got ourselves a van. If you say, hey, so was this ever in an accident? And they go, yeah, we can't tell you that. You get suspicious, right? So, and I'm just using that as an example. Obviously, a lazy example, yes, but it's Sunday, so, lazy examples do happen. And there are other current and former players in the National Hockey League who are saying, yeah, we need to clean this up. We need to clean this up. And professional leagues in general are trying to navigate everything that's going on. And this is no longer just in the States. This is everywhere. This is, this is going on globally. So there's definitely movements afoot, and there are people who don't like it, and there are people who think it's overdue. And yeah, this is going to change things. Because honestly, there's too many people who are coming out. So that being said, and being into day 13 or 14 of that, it's a lot, right? So we're going to see how this goes and how this is going to affect this league. Honestly, the GTHL is going to be forced to come out and say something and give up these stats, or at least say, going forward, this is the plan. But to say, well, we give out indefinite suspensions, but how long are they and what are the guidelines? Can't tell you that. So this is where you've got to nip it in the bud, is when they're kids and before they're adults. Because again, 16, you're old enough to know better. So there's that. Anaheim, Joel Persson, who didn't wear this jersey for very long, apparently won't be wearing it next year either. He's headed over to SHL to play for the Vaxjo Lakers. So I'll just say Lakers. He's going to be playing for the Lakers next year. So if you live in that area, if you really want to surprise people, go, hey, tell that Persson kid who came over from Edmonton, depth defenseman, he's decided he's going to play for the Lakers. And then don't give any kind of, explanation. Just, yeah, he's decided he's going to play for the Lakers. And that way people can be like, really? How tall is he? Tallish, I guess. Probably around the 6-foot mark. That's kind of short for the NBA, isn't it? It would be short for the NBA, but apparently he's going to play for the Lakers. And you don't have to clarify. So anyways, now Minnesota. This is interesting to me. Dean Evison, he's ahead of the game on this, and this might be a smart idea. So Minnesota's going to play against Vancouver, and I think this series is going to be close. I think anybody predicting a Vancouver sweep, they're in for a surprise. Anybody predicting a Minnesota sweep will also be in for a surprise. Coach Evison says it's going to be a 3-goaltender fight when it comes to playing time. So Stalock, Dubnyk, and Kokkonen. Now, Dubnyk has hinted around that maybe he doesn't come back and play. So maybe it's going to be a 2-goaltender fight. But he's basically saying it's a 3-goalie thing. So he's looking at Kokkonen, looking at his numbers in the AHL, probably looking at his starts in the NHL and saying, you know what, this kid's pretty good. Now, for the Vancouver Canucks, they've probably got a book on Dubnyk. They've probably got a book on Stalock. They wouldn't have a book on the new kid. So sometimes, and especially over a 5-game series, you just need to win 3 to get to that next round. It might be a really smart move to go with the new kid. If he's playing well in training camp, Yeah, sure. And that might be the smartest move for Minnesota because the record with him wasn't bad and his numbers were pretty good. So we'll see. We'll see what they do. Because again, going into the playoffs or the play-in round to get to the playoffs, I think we're going to see some interesting decisions made by coaches where maybe we'll see two goaltenders playing for multiple teams rather than the one you'd normally see in the playoffs. New York Rangers reportedly are likely opening their optional practices on Tuesday. So you can go to MSG's training facility and practice and work out. And again, all of this is voluntary. So I'm waiting for the articles that are coming in the next couple of weeks where it's going to be so-and-so isn't at the training facility. What's going on? Is there a problem? And why are they going to play at all? So we're probably going to see that happen. But I'm not going to read too much into it unless the player comes out and says, yeah, I'm not coming back, because it is voluntary. We don't get into so you're supposed to be here until training camps, and training camps keep getting pushed back further and further. I don't think there's any rush. Again, I don't think there's any rush on this. I think they want to make sure it is as safe as possible, it is being done as methodically as possible, and that they can have a situation where the players are comfortable coming back to play. So this is important that the players feel comfortable, because if they don't, this whole thing falls apart. So the NHL can't rush it through. And when I see comparisons between NASCAR and the NHL, I think, well, that's not quite fair, because NASCAR, it's smaller groups that can be isolated together, and it's not a team sport. I know there's teams with NASCAR, but it's a completely different situation. So it is easier for NASCAR to come back and play, race than it is for, the NHL to come back for team sports. And I want to wish the Capitals and their fans a happy Cup-iversary today. It's 2 years ago today that they finally put to rest 40-plus years of frustration and finally won themselves the Stanley Cup. So happy Cup-iversary to Washington. And this is a reminder, normally on this day, on any given year, we are finishing the Stanley Cup playoffs. We are almost finished the Stanley Cup playoffs. And then we're looking at the draft, free agency, and all the wonderful signing stuff to talk about. And right now we are still in the same pause we were almost 3 months ago to the day, where we don't know what's happening yet. We have some idea of phase 2 coming up this week, and I'll be here to report on whatever happens when it does. But let me know your thoughts in the comments section below. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happened upon this video. And hey, thank you guys so much for watching, for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.